Hello, I'm here to talk about COVID-19 or coronavirus. The name coronavirus comes because it looks like the sun, with the rays all going out. The word corona means sun. So, one variant of this virus, the coronavirus, which is known as SARS-CoV-2, it is responsible for the current disease which is spreading havoc throughout the world, and that disease is called COVID-19. Thus, name of the virus is SARS-CoV-2, while the name of the disease is COVID-19. Let us explore some facts about this virus. Whom will it affect? It will affect 40 to 60% of any population in the world. And out of those affected, around 10 to 15% will have severe disease. Severe disease means they'll require hospitalization and different levels of care, maybe ICU care, maybe ventilators. And the persons who get adequate care, adequate oxygenation, ventilator support, dialysis were required, out of them the mortality rate will be very less, 1% or less will die. However, if this care is not there, or there are not sufficient resources for this, then 3 to 10% of people may die. So one thing is that, what about the recovery? Recovery from the virus is 100%. Once you have become asymptomatic or your symptoms have disappeared, the fever is gone, and 2 weeks have passed, it is highly unlikely that you'll have any other complication. But the problem is that we still do not know till when the person is infected. Even when the test becomes negative, some people still continue to secrete the virus in their stool. Yes, and that may be a very common source of spread in our country. Let us explore a few facts and, more importantly, some myths about COVID-19. The first and most dangerous is that the young persons will escape from COVID-19. Of course, deaths are much more in proportion in the elderly, but it doesn't mean that the youth will be spared. We can see already cases in Maharashtra that are affecting people in their 30s and 40s, and they are getting really sick. The second very dangerous myth is that Indians have some special kind of immunity to COVID-19. This has been expressed in various ways. Some people are saying that since we have so much of infection, we will have herd immunity. But herd immunity occurs only when a person has been exposed, when a community has been exposed to a certain infection, and a certain level of person have protective antibodies against that infection. In case of COVID, no one has antibodies from beforehand because they have never been exposed to the virus. So to develop herd immunity, at least 40 to 60% of the population have to be exposed, and millions may die in the process. Then another myth going on is that the strain in India is less virulent, that is less dangerous than the one in, say, Italy or US. Again, it is not that only a single strain of virus has come to India. Through various routes, various carriers, we expect that almost all strains are there, and this is again a very dangerous hypothesis. A currently prevalent hypothesis is that BCG will protect against COVID-19. This is again a variation of a previous myth that the virus will not survive in heat, which was again replaced by the myth that malaria endemic countries will not have this virus, and the same thing, taking the same countries, this has come out that BCG protects. I'll be the happiest man if this is proved wrong and India has some amount of immunity against this virus. But until it is proven, we should not take this, and that will make us much complacent. Another common myth is that hot temperature will kill the virus. Some people are advising that we should take hot baths regularly to get rid of the virus. But the virus stays inside the cell. The temperature outside doesn't matter. And the spread is from human to human. So whatever be the temperature outside, may it be 5 degrees or 45 degrees, the human body temperature is remaining same. And if it is remaining same, obviously the virus will survive and it will be transmitted from human to human. The next myth is that if you can hold your breath for 20 seconds, you don't have the virus. Again, this is wrong. It has been shown that 80% of transmission has occurred by people who have been asymptomatic, that is without any symptoms or having very mild symptoms. Thus, the difficulty in holding your breath may occur only in severe cases in maybe that 10 to 15% of people, but other people who can hold their breaths may also be actively spreading the disease. Another common thing my aunt told me that is if you drink water, the virus which stays in your throat will get washed away to your stomach, where it will be destroyed by the stomach acid. Then again, the virus doesn't stay on the throat, it stays inside the cells of your throat. So even if you push it with a spray, until and unless the cells break, the virus will not be dislodged. Then another common conception among people is that the thermal scanners, like those used in the airports you have seen, that will be able to detect people with coronavirus. But then again, temperature occurs only at the beginning and sometimes late stages of the disease, and only temperature cannot detect all cases of COVID-19. Then commonly we see people advising garlic, turmeric, vitamin C, beta carotene, this and that, and many more remedies to increase immunity. Again, this may increase your immunity, but there is no evidence that they have any action to prevent coronavirus COVID infection. You may take this because most of these are harmless, but you should not expect them to hold off the virus. What are the facts? What can actually help? Physical distancing helps. This has been shown way back in 19 and 18 when the Spanish flu pandemic had occurred. The same thing is applicable here, and that is possibly the most important. Even if it cannot stop the spread, it will slow it down. So people who need medical care can get sufficient care. Say 100 people are affected at the same time and number of ventilators in a hospital are only 30. Then 70% of them will not get ventilators and may not survive. But if the same people are affected slowly, initially 20, then 30, then another 30, then another 20, then obviously the ventilator will be available, and after one batch gets improved, there will be sufficient ventilators for the next batch. That is how physical distancing, though it is called social distancing by some, I call it physical distancing, that helps. Then soap can destroy the virus. It is not necessary that you'll pour sanitizer over everyone and every time you go out. Soap is equally effective, and instead of wasting valuable sanitizers, we can just wash with soap. And if anything is there on us, any virus on the skin can be destroyed by soap. Also, dry and heat can kill or destroy the virus. So suppose you have a box which you think may be contaminated by someone sneezing on it. Just keep it in a dry place for 3 to 5 days without touching. After that, you can assume that the virus has got destroyed, and then you can open up the box. Then the last fact is that healthy people definitely have a better chance of surviving COVID. So make sure you are healthy. Basic things you can look after is, if you are a diabetic patient, make sure your sugar is controlled. If you have hypertension, make sure your blood pressure is controlled. Mental health is very important, and make sure you're not depressed or very angry because these things are very common in a lockdown. So you need to ensure your mental health. One way of doing is to maintain physical health also. Some amount of physical workout even in the confines of your home can be very helpful. So these were some of the facts and myths about COVID-19, and I hope this video has helped you. If you have any more queries, please put them to me. Otherwise, like, share and subscribe to this video. Thank you.